Raw. We can't always have a positive thing in our world. We have, of course, Raw segment involving Seth Rollins and bringing up most of Rollins' history of backstabbing, and this is over the Survivor Series match that they had. This episode was shit, but there were some positives. Kevin Owens match over with Bobby Lashley until uh, Rusev came out of nowhere and attacked him, hitting him with his little thrust kick until security guards came and then arrested both of them. It came up with lot of slapping one of the police officers, and then she got arrested. I guess that was cool. I guess they got dragged out with handcuffs. I guess that was cool. There was also the authors of Pain dragging out Kevin Owens, but we didn't know what happened to him later on backstage because it didn't go backstage involving two big men abducting a man and doing whatever the hell torturous shit they could have done backstage. So, yeah. We had Akira Tozawa lose to Drew McIntyre into Drew McIntyre getting fucking did a kip up. This nigga is crazily athletic. The dude did a gut wrench power slam. Akira Tozawa obviously did his front senton while he was laying on his back, inverted Alabama slam from the outside. Then a crazy ass Claymore kick to end up the match. The match was great. They pushed the Tozawa as a strong-hearted wrestler. How McIntyre was on his knees threatening, saying, "I will beat your ass," and do all that stuff. That shows McIntyre as being a cocky, skilled, gifted pro wrestler, and I wish we did more shit like that. And then later on, he called out Randy Orton. Okay, we get a bit of conflict. Earlier over in the promo saying I'm the next big thing, so we don't know if McIntyre's heel or face after doing something as heelish as mocking a smaller competitor, then beating the shit out of him in a fair fight, and then saying he's a new guy, and then the fans with him. And then it interrupted into another segment involving his issue with the OC and Randy Orton being the cause of AJ Styles losing the United States title. So it was like a number of conflict completely etching at this one singular person, and it's all involving Randy Orton. McIntyre then continues to be the heel because the crowd was with him most of the time because he just walked out like this. It's not my problem anymore, fam. You have to deal with a midget and two tall jobbers. So, yeah, Orton was getting assaulted by the OC, and it ended up with Ricochet, Humberto, and Rey Mysterio coming to attack to save Orton's ass and help out against the OC for a six-man tag later that night. The segment was alright. Ricochet came with the All My Pants. Mysterio came with the US title. And Humberto came being a consistent good wrestler but jobber. So yeah. Next up was Aleister Black against Tony Nese, saying he's the prime athlete after the match. Buddy Murphy was coming to sit down, was wearing a regular t-shirt with his pecs all out watching. And yeah. The match was alright. Tony Nese did a springboard forearm from the outside. He did some cool move, and it still ended up with a cool transition into the Black Mask, but no one really cared. The match was a squash match, and we know it's just gonna build up Buddy Murphy against Aleister Black, and it's so cool how we're just using jobbers out of former cruiserweight champions. First, we know freaking Drew Gulak, former cruiserweight champion of this year, former Cruiserweight champion of also this year, is Tony Nese. We have 4 different Cruiserweight champions, and the most recent one to actually be given a push in the mid-card is currently Buddy Murphy that's feuding somewhat with Aleister Black. So how this is going to work, completely, because this comes from, like, the hype train, bloody, bloody, blah. Both these guys are good wrestlers. We can't wait for the work rate. There's no legit reason why these guys should feud other than these guys are going to feud, and it kind of sucks. We don't have any illegitimate way because there's no authority figures, no rhyme or reasons. These guys don't get title shots. These guys feud because of the sake of feuding. But alright, squash match. At least we're not getting any like random jobber. Next up, they did Andrade versus Eric Young, and it ended up with it was a good match actually. This was a good match, and it's a yet again good wrestling, terrible storytelling. What was the point of Eric Young having this matchup? Did we do a backstage segment? No. Was this from the previous week? This came off Andrade picking up wins against Ali, Sin Cara twice, and now he got his release finally. So did the Ascension, and Luke Harper got their release. That is depressing. These guys weren't doing much to begin with. The Ascension was way overdue, and Sin Cara was way overdue. Luke Harper, I thought he still had potential. Since they drafted him to a different brand, he kind of screwed up in general. And now, we got a 2-time NASCAR champion holding the 24/7 title, and they didn't even show what else happened that night. After using them, after our troop used him to hide. One of the, I don't know this guy's name. I'm not gonna repeat it for you. He came around. His friend was a referee. 1, 2, 3 off the simple OP roll up. If this was the strongest move ever in WWE, you know how many times Zack Ryder could have been WWE champion? Because I think he won most of his titles via roll up, except that one time against Ziggler for the US title. But enough about that. Eric Young. He pulled up some decent moves, pulled up some decent clotheslines, decent power slam, average selling it. It still ended up with obviously Andrade winning. But I gotta say this was a good match. An average match. It was quick. And they just went off randomly with these awkward transitions. Like, we could have done this somewhere else. We were like in Virginia, right? So we could have been in like a random racetrack. Our truth could have been there, and you could have just like dropped a video from the Titantron being like, "Oh, look at me, I'm in the racetrack." Blah blah blah. He gets rolled up out of nowhere by the race car driver. He pulls up some champagne and he wears his jumpsuit. Simple as that. Simple. It's basic. It's a bit cheesy, but we know the 24/7 title means everywhere. You get pinned anywhere 24/7 with only one thing being you need a ref. That's the simplest thing. What's wrong with you? Not every time you gotta show it in the ring because you guys travel. That's the stupidest thing. You're in a different setting every week. Why not do it in a different setting? It's completely off-putting. It makes the 24/7 title just feel like a title that's just there. If it's possible that you're gonna do this every time and R-Truth is gonna act like a fucking retard, the Singh brothers do it as well. Why run around the fucking ring? Why? You know how easy that is? The front row, and why not hide in the nosebleeds where nobody's gonna see you or the camera's not gonna look at you? Why not be a janitor? Why not do all this unique stuff that you can do? It's literally a belt that's Where's Waldo, but these faggots are running around with the belt. They're idiots, and it's stupid. This 24/7 title is already like overcooked longevity. It's like the New Day. It sounds nice at first. They finally got something going with it. With a black person. I'm joking. That was completely off-putting. Holy shit. Next up was the third squash match in a row involving No Way Jose. That should have asked for his release. Like, he's been on NXT. He was like on NXT for like a year and a half. He came around jobbing out. and he was like in a match with the most notable thing he did was in a match with Andrade. Then he gets pinned against Eric Rowan, and one of his party dudes got double slammed after trying to peek into whatever in the hell's in the cage, and then Iron Claw choke slam got a big boot. Eric, why is no way Jose still here? Like they don't put him up with a feud. He's just a discount Adam Rose, where he's a random party animal, and we couldn't even make him feel like a rip-off Carlito. What's his legit gimmick other than he's just a random party animal? Eric Rowan, we still don't know what's in this thing, but ever since he's been trying to build up a gimmick or at least something that makes him pseudo-threatening in the solo department, it was underwhelming. Like the time when Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan were accused for assaulting Roman Reigns with a car, and Roman Reigns takes it as nonchalant as me getting bumped to the shoulder by a stranger by accident. That storyline was retarded on SmackDown. And now here's Eric Rowan just jobbing out, just no Jose just jobbing out. Like, is he okay with this? I'm okay with this. I'm always okay with being a jobber. He's not even a veteran. He's been working in WWE for at least 4 or 5 years in the main roster, and he has not gotten a fair shake. He's not even gotten a storyline. How is that not, like, depressing to him? Next up, it's going to be the Kabuki Warriors face off against Charlotte in a handicap match. This was completely out of random. It wasn't even a call out. Charlotte just gave a random big boot over to. This was an alright match. Double moonsault was off a double knee from coming from Kairi Sane and Asuka. Cool ass roundhouse kick. It obviously came up with the Kabuki Warriors winning off a green mist. Pretty fun handicap match, but this had no rhyme or reason to exist. Other than maybe they're going to tag her with Becky Lynch and they're going to do a tag title match come TLC. It's going to be some stupid stipulation. I really don't care. And I'm just doing this in order. Found this in Bleacher Report. Please, mind you when I read this. The issue lies in the creative's unwavering determination to remind everyone just how much better than the rest of the roster Flair is. The match entered the closing moments. It appeared although it would defeat the reigning tag team champions, and we're not from the blind tag and the blah blah blah. No one really cared. The match ended what you would expect. The Kabuki Warriors finally get over because they're heels. They use the green mist to win. Then we got an insane elbow. Then the Kabuki Warriors win. Nobody really cared about this match. Nobody even knew why it was a handicap match. Then we got Mark Sterling and Mitchell Leon's again, and it was a squash match. Obviously, the fourth squash match in a row, and it ends with obviously the Viking Raiders winning with knees to the face, knee to the face, knee to the crossbody. Oh, a moonsault from Ivor. Ooh, we know how talented these guys are, so why do we keep putting them in squash matches? They're our tag team champions. They have been that way for the last 2 months. And they have not been the feud because if it's the OC again, I'm gonna cry. Why not fuse the belts already? Just unify them again. Bring back the pennies. Fuck it. Do something, man. Give a corny design like you did the Intercontinental title that didn't need to change. Why? What's wrong with you guys? Is it that difficult to make a unique belt? Or at least make a pseudo tag division? Matt Hardy came back. He got jobbed out from last week. Jeff Hardy is retarded and gets his ass arrested. The Usos are gone. The Ascension have been jobbers ever since they got to the main roster. Wasted their time with an unrelatably retarded gimmick. The OC are jobbers. Most of the tag division either gets in trouble, injured, dumb, or just lazy storytelling. Street Profits didn't even think, hey, maybe we should get a tag title match against our former NXT brethren, or something like that. Something like that to keep the feel like everybody's trying to chase something. Everybody has a goal. Everybody has a mission whenever they come to the WWE or the main roster, SmackDown, Raw, NXT. Make somebody have a mission. You don't let anybody do that. It's always 2 to 3, only one person always chasing down the WWE title. Nobody thought, oh, maybe we should actually make like a threat, like Orton, McIntyre, Styles trying to chase Brock Lesnar for coming to the Royal Rumble or something for the WWE title. Make a And we should make a TLC match to see who's going to face Lesnar at the Rumble, because obviously he's not going to show up on TLC. Or make the OC the Street Profits, Humberto or Mysterio, or somebody. Make relationships, make tag teams. Everything should be involved in WWE. Or else you got just some random show where you got tag teams and you got a couple singles guys. I've been just being singles feuds. And Humberto again gets pinned. What's the point of him having TV time if he gets squashed? Every time. He have not once pinned AJ Styles. He's pinned Carl Anderson once. That's all he's done. Super kicks, Hurricane Ranas, Top Gun Holo. Rey Mysterio delivered a 619. Corella whipped out Anderson with a planche on Ricochet. Dropped Styles with a recoil. Everything was going fine. Then Veteran Styles countered a hurricane. I think it was a Hurricane Rana over to a Styles clash. And after the OC won, Orton dropped an RKO on AJ Styles. And over that time, all I can say is this show gets a 4 out of 10. Raw was terrible. They had too many squash matches, no storytelling, and we're only a week away from TLC. Do you guys forget that you need to keep that in your mind? That we are a week away from TLC? How stressful has that be for the writers? How redundant does this storytelling have to do when we have Saudi, live events, NXT UK, 205 Live, SmackDown, Raw, all this crap that we keep on the network, plus live tours, video games, none of this, like, you think, like, we should slow the fuck down before we get broke? Our TV deals are depleting. Raw in our third hour is raping the shit out of us, and I don't think most of our talent is fitting our blend on how the hell we're gonna get any staying power on USA. None of that. None of that is in the thinking power of Vince McMahon. It's like, if it's not, get the hell out of my TV heat, that means it's okay for TV. Or if it's not offending anybody, then it stays on TV. I feel offended for watching 3 hours of a show, and I get 27 commercial breaks. And all there were squash matches, and I get a young, talented kid that's supposed to come break out in the roster, and he barely gets a win and a notable face. That's Humberto Carrillo. He has not pinned anybody important. Except that one lucky roll-up he had on Styles, and then he beat Carl Anderson. Then we got the Street Profits that barely show up on TV. Why? Then we get, who? Luke Harper, fucking Sin Cara, that asked for his his release like several weeks ago, and the Ascension both be released in the same month. And the only positive is the only person that is important currently that might be able to come back to change like WWE is former Impact World Champion John Morrison, that now has recently signed back with the WWE after 2011. And we know the issue that happened in 2011, because that was a rough time for John Morrison, because he wanted more creative stay on how he wanted to be on the main roster. And I think obviously he wanted to be in the world title picture for more, because his feud with The Miz and his time with R-Truth, he was having big matches. And for the recent years in the singles run after Eminem, the dude has had matches with beaten guys like Jeff Hardy, CM Punk, R-Truth, Shelton Benjamin, Drew McIntyre, Kofi Kingston, John Cena, Rey Mysterio, The Miz. Never given a fair shake. I think I respect a lot of John Morrison for that. And then he went to Impact, beat Del Rio. He beats. I don't think he feuded with Elgin. He's been keeping himself consistent in the Indies though. We see him in Lucha Underground and Impact. Fuck it, just say TNA if you want to. No one cares. This show was just trash. This was only a legit main event. We have no world champion like always. Like we just keep the cancer that keeps on spreading. There was no notable matches that were able to like accept whatever is gonna be in the highlight reel. And this is how it is. It's a legit highlight reel where you're literally just gonna, if you can't handle the third hour, then you're gonna do something else, go to sleep. Uh, I would just cry my ass to sleep and just watch the highlights because that was literally how I had to be. Because the only person that showed out was Drew McIntyre, showing why he's a legit superstar and why he should be pushed to the fucking top right now. The piss poor excuse of a feud with Rusev and Bobby Lashley. Why Kevin Owens is even here? And the only teaser being Rollins associating with the authors of Pain and turning him heel. So I'm just gonna give you positives at least about that. Ross still gets a 4 out of 10. Fuck off if you think it deserves a 5. That's me. I'm gonna sign out right now. It's the DST show, and thank you for watching.